You know, there's a debate right now of whether parents should be relying on their kids to fund their retirements. We had this discussion earlier. Now, here's the reality of it. It was actually a buddy of mine out there that basically sort of sparked that debate. He's basically said it was irresponsible of a parent to not be 100% set up for retirement, especially if they have kids, because it forces them to be financially responsible for their parents. Now, when I say especially if they have kids, like if they have kids, because that's why they're a parent. But here's the data that basically comes with this. 2020 census revealed that 58% of baby boomers, I would assume that most of our parents are baby boomers, maybe Gen Xers, that 58% don't own a retirement account. 58%. And 56% of Gen X are in the same situation for retirement. The median savings in retirement accounts are just $289 for baby boomers, who are basically 65 plus, and $82K for Gen X, which is basically mid-40s to basically 65. So often what's happening is that younger generations are having to step in, helping their parents retire, and then essentially fulfilling the cycle of they might not have enough money for retirement. So it gets pretty ugly. So you talked about, I think it was you that just said, nobody ever taught you about money. Well, nobody taught your parents about money, and that's why this cycle continues. I think you brought up the whole, I learned it on what? YouTube.
I took it into my own hands. Yeah, because,
right.
you know, I saw that generational, like my grandmother is in her 80s, wasn't great with money, didn't plan. Now living in South Florida, things are expensive. Like my grandmother pays like
Aspen's noted. She has to move back to Iowa.
Wow. You know, for being 80, $1,800 rent is crazy. You know, and then seeing how it trickled down to my mom, and now being successful in my 30s, I was like, okay, I need to plan. Like, I'm not really big on 401ks and things like that. I'd rather put my money in other places and work for me. But, you know, I didn't even have life insurance. Like, this was something that I recently started and putting a lot of money into that. So when I retire, I have money.
Right.
You know, it's just doing your own research and setting yourself up for success later on, because what we do today is what we're going to harvest later on, and really taking that in consideration. Like, we can't just like live life like running around, because then when you get to 65, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Right.
What do I do?
Well, you're absolutely right, because when you're 21 or 23 or 24 or 25, you're like, why do I care about retirement?
For sure.
It's like, it's the last thing I'm worried about. But here's what I do know, that if you're 23 or 25, you're going to be 30. And then next thing you know, time flies, boom, you're 40. Next thing you know, you have nothing saved for retirement. If you're 40, your parents are probably in their 60s, if not 70 at that point. And then you can look at your parents and be like, how much money do you have saved for retirement? Oh, nothing? What? And as Bernie Sanders always says, not that I'm for or against Bernie, it's irrelevant. He's always saying, do you understand that 50% of baby boomers who are ready to retire have nothing saved for retirement? So I ask you at home, whether it's a 401k, whether it's a Roth IRA, whether it's home equity, whatever it is, do you want to have $1 million saved for retirement? Do you want to have $500,000 saved for retirement? Do you want to have $10 million, or do you want to have nothing? I would argue that like the last thing that you want in your life is to be on what I call the government plan. When you've got no money, you're relying on Social Security and Medicaid.
And
that is basically for like poor, broke people.
That might not even be around when I'm 65, you know, the way things are going. So relying on the government is not
rely on them
like
for nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Right. Like a Cuban would know, do not rely on the government for nothing. They will take that shit. So anyway, you ready to pay for your parents' retirement? Is that what you're saying?
You know what? I actually, my dream is always like, the only reason I've ever wanted to be successful is so that I can like give my mom a good life.
Yeah.
That's precious.
Yep.
It's like the best feeling.
Yeah.
You said you did that for your parents. What do you do for your parents?
Well, I pay rent. I've given my mom a car. Like, my 2 siblings are disabled, so they can't work. Wow. So now that I'm successful, I'm able to help them tremendously, and it's the best feeling.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of weight on your shoulders. Like, when you think about it, now you're taking care of a whole nother family, and now I'm starting my own family. So I think there's pros and cons with it, but I think it's a great thing when you're able to do that for your parent.
Yeah. Like, my drive of like, when I kind of like realized I always kind of wanted to like work for myself. I never really like had a dream of like climbing a corporate ladder. It was never my dream. And I always would tell my mom, like, just let me, like, I have an idea in my head, I have a plan in my head, just let me figure it out. And, like, I've dug myself into some debt, but, like, now I'm starting to, like, learn about it and dig myself out of it and being proactive about it. But I am only 26, so, like, I am still young, but I'm at the age now where it's, like, I need to get my shit together, like, now and figure it out. And my stepdad is, like, my mom had a brain aneurysm rupture a couple years ago, so now my mom is, like, disabled and she doesn't work or do anything. So my stepdad completely takes care of her, and he's still working full time, like 85 hours a week, and like taking care of my mom and supporting them. So now, like, my mom is like everything to me, like my best friend in the entire world. I'd jump in front of a bullet for her. So like watching my stepdad raised me. So like watching him like just not like turn it back to her and do everything to like make sure she's good and take care of her. Now I'm like, okay, well now I don't want to just like have her, like now I have you too, like, and knowing how hard he's working, I just really want to like find success so that I can be like, relax, like I got it.
Respect to you. I mean, and you're honoring your grandparents' legacy by running the business still to this day. So, you know, she's talking about basically helping fund her parents' retirement, mom's retirement. Your mom, okay. I help my mom all the time. Like the best thing to say to my mom is like, because she's working, she's got very little saved for retirement, but she's like one of those, Mom, if you're watching, I love you. I'm gonna say nice things. She doesn't ever want to stop working. Like her only hobby is like singing. So, and it's not like her album's dropping anytime soon. So she doesn't want to go play golf. She doesn't want to play mahjong. She's not shopping at the mall. She just wants to work and sing. All right. I'm like, you can do both at the same time. So she's always making this income. But basically, as you turn, I think the number is 75. You have to start taking, it's called minimum monthly withdrawals or from your 401k. So she's having to start withdrawing this money, something upcoming soon, but she can still work. I said, Mom, just know this, that your son, and even my daughter, my sister, give respect to her, when you're ready to retire and you have no money, you're never going to be on the government plan. Like, you're good to go. She's like, oh, that's my sonny boy. Thank you so much. But it is a great feeling to know that, like, you've done something in your life to help your parents. Now, I would encourage the parents out there to not have to rely on their kids and actually make the financial decisions in their life, not to rely on their kids. But here's the reality. If we're using Bernie Sanders as an example, 50% of people have not been bad. Like, so don't, like, flip a coin, just like with marriage. Flip a coin whether marriage is successful. Flip a coin whether your financial life is successful. I'd rather be on the side of, I got my money right, I got my relationship right, I got my life right. I don't want it to be a coin flip. Super important.
So if you like that clip, click right here to watch another. Or if you want to watch the entire SOSCAST, click right here.